tube. Dooba dooba doob. Dooba dooba dooba. Dooba dooba dub. Dooba dub. Okay. I should be. It should be streaming now. It says live stream is offline for me.
Like a ship Shenanigans.
For some reason. Okay, it is live. Greetings everybody and welcome to quick little thing where I'm going to verse basically my Orion-Supreme-Class Ferolder against, well, everything else. Let me just check my actual recording setup.
Turning it into a fine multicolored paste.
I'm gonna verse it against the against Lightning JC's Keel Kaiser, the smaller Orion-Class Ferolder Mark III, and then I'm actually gonna go find the Roundhouse punch, because hello Lightning, yes you can speak. Kaju?
Yes.
Have you found the video yet?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, good.
I'm watching it.
Cool. So you can see all the ships and stuff. In fact, I should probably also throw in. Okay.
Examiner Prime.
Sorry.
I'm just looking at ships.
Yeah. Okay. Reassembly crashed. Because I tried to.
Off to a good start.
Yeah, I tried. No, it's because I tried to alt tab.
You tried alt tabbing.
Yeah, yeah. I want to find a specific ship. Because there's another version of the Ferolder that I made that's 8000p and looks a lot better and works a lot better, surprisingly. Like it's 8000p, it's a fraction of the cost of like my original Orion-Class Ferolder designs, but it's surprisingly more effective against, you know, an equivocal fleet. Like the Orion-Class Ferolder, when put up against a fleet of its, you know, equatable size in terms of cost, usually doesn't do all too well. But if I put it up against, but this Ferolder, if I put it up again, okay, let me get the 3.4 export. Okay, hold on, world. I'll be there soon. Tournament. Okay. I'm just gonna F11 it and turn reassembly back on. There we go. Import Orion-Class. There we go. Okay. That's not what I wanted. Oh, why is its color scheme broken? Darn it. Okay, well, anyway, here's the ship. For some reason, its color scheme is broken. It's sad.
What would do that?
I have no clue. Yeah, but I have a temporary fix. Let's see, color fix. This should make it work. Okay. Oh no, it's the other one's updated now? Question mark? Okay. Anyway, just gonna leave that out of this.
That's weird.
All right. So let's begin. Oh wait, I need the roundhouse punch.
Yes.
Oof, game does not like importing the roundhouse punch.
I can't imagine why.
I can't imagine why. Okay, let's see if this works.
That is a hell of a threat.
Okay, so this is the Orion-Supreme-Class Ferolder. It's gorgeous and gargantuan versus the Orion-Class Ferolder, which is quite minuscule but still packs a punch. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you can imagine how this.
That seems fair.
That seems really fair. Really fair.
It's basically almost the same ship, except it's. Oh no.
Scale difference.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
It's trying its best.
It is trying its best. It is absolutely trying its best, but it sadly fails. Ramming speed, yes, Lightning.
It's not even gonna make it. It's being pushed back by the lasers.
Oh no, it gets there. It gets there, but it's nothing by the time. I'm trying to stay out because the noise is louder than you guys. Actually, let me just options.
Parts of it are sliced off.
Yeah.
It's actually safe in between. So the way to get around those lasers is be small enough to fit between the two of them.
Exactly. Okay, now I'm gonna put something of equatable cost against these things, which is like hilarious. Okay, so let's now see the Orion-Supreme-Class Ferolder against the Keel Kaiser. Okay, so they've been spawned at funny angles. That's fine. So we can immediately see the scale difference. But in
I
terms of
already know that.
yeah, well this is
How much bigger the Orion-Supreme is.
well I'm recording this for the main channel as well, Kaiju. So you know just for public as well. So
Alright.
on the left is obviously my ship, and on the right is Lightning JC's ship. And this thing is gargantuan. At least,
Low bug.
or more quickly, mine is, and his is massive and awesome as well, and just insane. Look at this.
Just, looks like it's just covered in glow bugs.
It is. It's got hundreds of drones inside of it. Is the issue. So Kaiju, you wanted to see this battle in its entirety.
That ship was meant to go into Deluxe's tournament. It was at 82,000 before I just added all of the drones and missiles and stuff.
But
Yeah.
never made it.
It got in. It's like,
Yeah. So Lightning submitted this thing for the Titan tournament, but yeah. Sadly, it's you know the Orion Supreme is I think 20,000. Yeah, it's about 30,000 more power points than the Keel Kaiser, which is a bit sad, but you know, it's gorgeous just to watch.
The shields are taking that laser.
They really do.
Were.
They were. they were. So for everyone watching, Kaiju is actually watching this stream, so he's a little bit delayed, but you know, he gets there eventually. So we are obviously seeing things ahead of time. He's seeing what you're seeing, but he's hearing the ahead of time version. So you're ahead of time, even though you're behind time. Does this make sense to everybody? I think it's beautiful.
There goes the back shield. There's only one shield left.
Yeah, and oh, it's gorgeous. Just
One's coming back. One shield left.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
And no shields left.
Boom.
No, I got it. Barely.
Lightning, when your ship goes nuclear, it really goes nuclear, you know. Kaiju will see that in a second. There you go. Yeah, yeah. That was beautiful.
Dust to dust.
all the explosions happen, and then the particle effects come all into
Now all the little drones have nowhere to go home.
Yeah.
all of the 1,000.
They're all without a home.
I forget the amount of drones that it's like about 1,000 to
I mean, it's
to one inside.
I mean, there is a hell of a lot of stuff in here, Lightning. Like a hell of a lot of stuff. I actually feel like these drones are helping push the Keelkaiser towards its target, because there's enough of them.
Millions of tow cables.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I love it. Oh, and all the.
You probably have more fighters if it was actually a ship, because it's meant to be what 28 kilometers long and 4 kilometers wide.
Well,
Now I hate to be a bully to your ship, Lightning, but how does the Roundhouse treat the phosphorus?
you mean the Keelkaiser?
I've
Keel
seen
Kaiser.
that happen.
Kaiser.
It's been in a tournament after being party.
Oh dear.
Funny. It's literally just like you to good.
Okay, let's watch these death beams just chow into Lightning's
Slice
ship.
into its ships.
It's so gorgeous. Because
I can't even see the ship. There's so many little green lights.
I love how the
I
Orion.
don't think YouTube likes it either because it's artifacting. It looks like.
Yeah,
Let's just send any higher. It's only 480.
I'm at 2,285 kilobits per second, so
Well, YouTube is only putting it up to 480. So.
Really? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. That's reasonable. I
Well,
can't.
it's just artifacting this of how many little lights and everything is. I can't even see the Kaiser.
Oh my gosh, really?
I just see the vague shape of it in green.
Really? Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Oh well.
it's very bright. So where's this point that we're in the ship that makes it where it will just explode? Is it right in the middle?
You know, you say that right as it happens. That is hilarious. It's right in the middle. There's a point at which it hits and everything goes nuclear. It's gorgeous.
Yep, there it goes.
I don't know how. I don't know how lightning makes it happen because it does. It can't explode from the outside, but it can only explode from the inside.
Right.
Okay, now you get to see the latest iteration of Ferolder. The most
Of your ship.
yes, my ship. The most
Without colors.
yeah, because the colors are glitching to hell. But you know the most
A lot of Feralders.
yes, a lot because
Ferolders.
this is the equatable
What
how
are they shooting?
they're shooting torpedoes. That's torpedoes right out the mouth. But it looks really cool because it looks like a giant, you know, laser or a giant plasma projectile.
Yeah.
It's really cool. But yeah,
Are they guided or are they done?
dumb torpedoes, but it does have a lot of normal missiles. This is the
They
ones,
just kind of shot them.
yeah. So this is the most faithful reconstruction of the Ferolder. It's supposed to be dark blue, like really dark blue hull on a quite bright.
Unless the game just doesn't know what to do with that kind of color. Obviously, it's
It should know. It just I don't know why it's glitching out right now. But regardless of such, yeah, and you know they're really effective just simply due to their HP. The HP disparity between this ship and other ships of 8000p class is massive. So um,
but all the gray bits right now. That's all armor.
it's all armor, yeah. The gray is what would be dark blue, and all the blue stuff is what would be just bright orange. You know,
Oh, okay.
the nice, the bright orange of the Last Stand Navy. You know, of my Last Stand Navy.
So I'm curious what's going to start happening once these getting a little bit closer.
Yeah, they try to turn some of them. They can turn decently. It's just sometimes they want to face their butts towards the enemy, and I don't know why. I've yet to make it. I've yet to fix that behavior.
What kind of lasers are these? These blue ones.
Just normal proton proton beams.
They're not like knives.
No, they're not the swords. So the Orion Supreme
They
Class,
ought to be.
the Orion Supreme Class has the proton
So I
beams.
think it's doing it.
It's not really doing anything because there just aren't enough of them. The Orion Supreme has the like gargantuan bank of the things, as you can see.
Well, yeah.
It has the gargantuan mega bank of
That's
the
just
things.
broadsiding that one up front.
Yeah, it does. It does have a decent broadsiding complement. Like it has a lot of turrets. The late
But the Ferolder is getting broadsided.
the
The one up front.
yeah, the Orion Supreme. Oh yeah, it is. That's quite cool. Yeah, and the little Orion class is it's getting absolutely
I
broadsided.
like how that one on the back is trying to
It's
go in the back.
it might win, you know.
It's trying.
It might actually do well because it's trying. Oh gosh, the size disparity is so hilariously cool.
Ironically, I think the Supreme's going to lose just based on points unless the
Yeah.
thing happens.
The thing is, it usually does actually.
It usually loses.
It usually loses, yeah.
That's funny.
It usually loses against anything of equal cost, purely because you can have a lot more ships and therefore a lot more HP and weapons comparatively. Whereas this has not much HP for the amount of equipment it's packing. I mean, each one of these Orion classes is only 8,000p, and so you need like what 12 of them to equal one of these big things, and that's still 12 of these gargantuan ships, and that's a lot of HP put together. That's a lot of health for literally equal energy,
I'm curious if
cost.
the Supreme will even take anything down at this point. I mean, it's got that one on the front handily.
Yeah, and this is the other thing. For it to really cut through this armor, it needs to dedicate a lot of its firepower, and a lot of its firepower
Up front.
can't even reach because it doesn't have enough range. Um,
Yeah, it's going right through it.
yeah, a lot of these weapons should actually be set to point defense, but for some reason they aren't. Like these rear plasma guns, Tube Tiger, um, Purple Electric Tiger just
Holy
showed
shit,
up.
Batman.
Yeah, holy shit. Yeah, so Purple Electric Tiger just showed up. But yeah, these rear plasma guns should be firing up towards this. Should be firing at these other ships. And a lot of these rear weapon emplacements are, but the issue is they can't do enough damage to really do much. Because I mean those are
They're
big scale.
hitting.
They're hitting, but they're not doing very much, unfortunately.
The
Yeah,
points are turning around.
they are. They really are. Now, the Orion-Supreme class is very effective against small unarmored ships because
Yeah, that front one's toast.
their front one is absolute. So it's wreckage. But
Just sheared off the whole side.
yeah, oh, it's just it's beautiful, isn't it?
Where's the critical point where if it gets destroyed, it gets rid of the ship? Is it the piece in the middle of that square?
Yeah, each ship has this, the little command module.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, Kaiju has never played Reassembly before.
I know.
So this little thing in the center of the ship is the command module. Oh,
Yeah.
Tube Tiger is Viren. Oh, Viren, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Viren. I'm sorry. But you call yourself Tube Tiger, and Purple Electric
Be
Tiger
consistent.
called I just like, people.
Keep your name consistent.
Exactly. Viren, we're in
You're in chat.
we're literally in Deluxe Gaming janitorium. You can just pop in. You can just come pop in. But yeah, so in the center of the Orion Supreme is the little command call,
Yeah.
and that's actually, once that pops, everything is dead, and the same goes for all the other ships. Now, the interesting thing about Reassembly AI is that it'll only ever try to target that command core. It never tries to
Nothing
target
else.
anything else. Yeah, never. It doesn't target anything else. It only ever targets command things. So, which is reasonable, I guess, because
Which you can kind of exploit that if you know where you're putting it.
oh, you really can. You really can. I mean, the thing is, you can. There are ship designs where you literally have the enemy drive into a claw, where basically you have weapons on the outside. You have the core like really far back in the middle, and the enemy ship drives in, is shooting into a giant chunk of armor, and your weapons are hitting it from the sides and just cuts right through. It's beautiful.
Right.
That happens to incredible effect in raid tournaments. Like if you have a raid only tournament, that happens wonderfully. Um,
Wow.
and also in Terran to a degree, but
Yeah, we're about
yeah.
to witness the death of another Ferolder
yeah, yeah,
up front.
yeah. It's slowly chewing through. So yeah, Husk says the small ones would own if they had a decent amount of torps forward facing. Yeah, they really would. They really would, Husk. The only issue is that although they do have some torps, it's just that the Orion Supreme has way too much point defense. I mean, it is. If you look at these giant, I'm gonna wait for you to catch up, Kaiji. So just tell me when you see the giant bank of lasers, basically.
Yeah. Well, which ones?
The ones I'll be purposely
I see
zooming in
them,
on.
yes.
Okay, there you go.
Guys,
Yeah. So these are burst pulses. Now they are actually supposed to be weapons, but you can set them to point defense, and they work
Oh,
beautifully as point defense weapons. So yeah, you can set all weapons to point defense, and they're usually very effective. Well, the burst pulses really are, because they like nearly insta hit most missiles and things. And as you can see, they're carving into
they're just
this
shooting every little missile that comes anywhere.
exactly, and they can also shoot the enemy ship, which makes them really effective because they can both target.
I mean, a few make it through just because there's so many, but
Yeah, premium PD, Tank Husk, premium PD. There you go. I'm just gonna go a little bit into the darkness so that chat can be read for a few seconds. There you go. Okay, back into the fray. Yeah. It's pretty gorgeous. Um,
Is there a reason why some of the ships are just kind of just hanging out, just doing nothing?
it's, you know what? Sometimes
Is it just the reassembly AI of just not
it's
really?
the reassembly AI is
great.
it's a little iffy at times. Sometimes, ooh, that ship just went down. Did you see that bright flash of light? That's usually when a command call pops. It just makes a big bright flash of light. Poof. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh right, because you can see it through the whole arena.
Exactly. Yeah, so the Orion Supreme is slowly cutting through, and the issue is that all these other Orions, all the other Ferolders, they're
The
the
one in the
issue.
back hasn't made any progress.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
been lasering into the back end and hasn't really done anything.
yeah. The AI is a little iffy. The issue is that it tries to get its point defense closest to the enemy sometimes. It tries to get itself close. I mean, it does weird things.
You have like several ships just sitting out there just shooting missiles. Nothing else.
Yeah, I mean the thing is also that sometimes the ships will kind of get slightly randomized. Sometimes there'll be ones that want to kite more, whatever. But usually, if you because you can also set the ship's AI in its bindings menu. Oh, sorry. Oh, very very sorry, very sorry. And that'll usually affect whether it rushes, whether it kites, or whether it's dynamic.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I left these all
So,
on.
so you kind of have the full um, menagerie of
You have
all the
a
AI on display.
you yeah you have a small menagerie of
Because you
AIs.
have one kind of just getting death killed on the front. There's one kind of drawing on the back.
Yeah, they'll work off very basic systems, but they're quite reliable in most circumstances.
Screw
But
up with that one other
the thing is,
Ferolder die.
yeah, that other one just got mincemeated. Kablamo. That was gorgeous. Yeah. So far the Supreme has taken out three of the smaller ones purely because they aren't all engaging the thing at once. This
Right.
now
Which
this
is part of the problem.
part of the problem, which is why I put all my stuff into one gargantuan ship, because then it can actually use all of that cost at once. Whereas,
Right.
sometimes all the other ships are just kind of screwing about. And Viren says, they are there for verbal support, which is hilarious and is quite true.
Watching their compatriots
Just die.
get melted one by one.
Speaking of melting, let's look at this ship. It's just, oh jeez.
This one in the back.
No, yes, well, yeah, you'll see in a
The one
second.
that was trying to drill into the back of the
Yes,
Supreme.
yes, that one. It is. That's actually
Poor
really.
thing.
Oh,
It was trying its best.
it was trying its best, but now it's getting hammered.
It was trying to drill in the back with its main laser.
Yeah.
But just wasn't. The Supreme just wasn't having it.
Just wasn't having it. Oh.
And now
Yeah.
it's turned all its weapons to
Yep.
bear.
All of its main guns. I mean, the nice thing about the Supreme is that
Well, the main guns are those 4 death beams on the front.
yeah,
No, I'm assuming those are fixed.
those are fixed. Yes. Thankfully.
Although looks like it's about to
Yeah,
rip
it's
into a new friend.
it's about to say hello to a new friend. Yes, I'm pretty sure the Orion Supreme is going to win this fight. But it is gorgeous just to watch it.
It's jumped up in points quite a bit now. It's
Yeah.
taken out several trips.
Yeah, surprising the Orion Supreme will lose against more blatantly,
Newer ships.
well, things that are longer ranged for one. Or just have more hull, really, is all. I mean, a lot of the reason I have hull-less tournaments is kind of to remove the hull element.
Goes to the core.
Pop, yeah, oh, gorgeous. This is a beautiful fight, but I need to show you something else after this. But yeah, it's really hilarious. I love making massive ships and pitting them against lots of smaller ships, because then you have these sorts of like boss battle scenarios where lots of them are getting
Right.
destroyed and stuff. But usually the Orion Supreme will get annihilated
Well, when
by
people
things
build
like
their ships for the tournament, they build them against other big ships, not little ships.
exactly.
So then you start to see what the strengths and weaknesses of a particular ship, because then obviously if a ship can't handle small ships, then you know what to throw at it.
Yeah. So there's a lot of meta, and within the meta of Reassembly, we have brawlers, kiters, tanks, troll ships, spinners. Of course, a lot of different ships, which it's actually really funny because in Reassembly,
Spin all day.
there you can spend all day working on a type of ship, and there's so many different metas and different ways to have ships and different loadouts and equipments that it really becomes a rock paper scissors sort of scenario. Because you can have fast, lightly armored, long range ships that just are what we call kiters, and they try to keep away from the enemy and just pelt them with missiles from a range, and they will kill anything that's too slow. But then you get the really fast ships that have close range heavy weapons, and they're called brawlers, and they usually manage to kill kiters to a degree. Sometimes brawlers aren't fast enough.
Kiter can stay away, right?
Yeah, so you have kiters, chasers, rangers. So kiters usually get wrecked by anything with enough HP and enough range, but things with enough HP and enough range are usually annihilated by the things with even more HP but closer range. The brawlers, the things that come in close and just annihilate. So the Orion Supreme would actually be kind of a brawler.
Have a fun time with that.
Yeah, so the Ferolders are sort of brawlers because they're all getting close and they have lots of heavy weapons that try to hit each other, and they've also got a lot of armor. But a kiter, a ship that stays at range and just pelts this thing, would win because the Orion Supreme is not fast enough to catch up to anything small and highly maneuverable.
Oh, yeah.
The only issue with something small and highly maneuverable is that
it would just get melted.
yeah, exactly. The moment it gets too close to this ship, it would get incinerated by the lasers, which is actually really fun. The other nice reason I like really big ships is because
Burst might do it for that one.
yeah, and here come all the as Mons named these Mons Pubis, who runs the NMS's tournaments. He calls these big laser banks, the eye of God, because
this one on the starboard side of the Supreme is it's this guy that's laser on with not really doing much. But half of its hull is just melted off.
Yeah. The issue is that it's trying to stay at range. So
which is just out of range.
Exactly. So all ships have sort of a radius to them. So from the center outwards, the game makes basically a radius variable for the ship, and other ships will try to stay kind of approximate to that range, to that radius of the other ship. And the issue is that these Ferolders, the side of the Orion Supreme is really short compared to the length. The width is much smaller than the length, and so the normal Ferolders are trying to engage at the lengths at length range, whereas they're actually at the width side, which means that they're not actually engaging close enough. It's a weird thing, but sometimes, and also that usually doesn't happen because the ships will just try to fly towards the core anyway sometimes. But also sometimes the ships just hang at range, which is what most of these are doing. They're hanging just outside the weapon range of the Orion Supreme because they have missiles.
But it's outside their range too.
Yeah, but they're not concerned about their main weapons. They're concerned about their missiles, which is interesting.
Right, which they're just...
Yeah, I mean, you can see the pure scale of missile, and they also have a few railguns which help. Finally they're starting to actually hammer the front of the ship, but the Orion Supreme was repairing for a few seconds there because it wasn't getting hit by anything, which is crazy to think.
Can you zoom in on the Supreme? I'm curious. How much damage is this even actually taken? It doesn't look like much.
It's actually taken a lot. Where do you want to zoom in?
Wherever.
Okay.
Wherever you know that there's actual damage. This looks like burns.
So at the back left, at the back port side, it got roasted. It got very heavily hammered because of course the stuff was
LSN on it. I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah. There's a massive LSN on it. There's also the little sigil of the LSN as well. You see that in a few seconds when the stream gets there. um, Amusingly, there are a few proton beams going right through
I
it.
just didn't see it before because it's because of tube coding.
No, that's fine. That's fine. It's a lot
didn't
of
know it was
it's,
there.
it's a lot to process. Actually, there's also another little sigil at the back. Give the stream a few seconds to update to it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there's the little sigil of the LSN basically. Basically just kind of a flat bottom triangle with a little line going through it and all the way up. It's quite cool, I
As
guess.
a Ferolder is about to get laser faced.
Yeah, so as you can see, oh, by the way, it's also taken a hell of a pounding over here. It actually lost a lot of its port side missile. Does that be port?
Port is left.
Port is left. Yeah, starboard is right. Yeah, so it's yeah. So it's lost its big
yeah.
port side battery of weapons, but
Most of it.
it looks like it's been just slightly roasted, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like it's been set on fire, but not heavily damaged. But trust me, it has. Because if you compare the right side of the ship to the left side, it's been hammered. It's been hammered hard. If you compare the starboard to the port, it's taken a hell of a lot of pounding because the starboard has been clear. It's been free of enemy attack for the longest time, whereas the port has been taking the bulk of the hammering. But surprisingly, it's not that
All of
much.
it, pretty much.
In fact, yes, literally all of it. But unfortunately, the
How
port
is
side.
that ship still alive? It's just its command block.
Yeah, it's
And the armor surrounding it.
yeah, it's hilarious. The little command square, which is just super
That's
funny.
all that's left. What's about to shear off the other?
Oh, it actually just sheared off. Yeah, and now it's free. It's free. Freedom. Freedom. Where do I go? Into the lasers.
Towards the light.
Yeah. Yeah. So Viren says I feel bad that my
there goes.
yeah. So Viren says I feel bad that my first true build in Reassembly was a fidget spinner.
There's a spinner.
Wow, Viren. Wow, buddy. Come on. It's alright. It's alright. Okay, there we go. Finally, pop. There's the ship. It literally flew into the lasers. Just
Flew
like
into the light.
yeah, it was just like, please end it now. Oh, and guess what? Time ran out. So it took about like 30 minutes to go through 2 minutes and 30 seconds of like actual in-game time. The time actually ran out. The Orion Supreme wins.
Right on the timer.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Okay, I'm just gonna skip it because we know how that goes. Alright.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Time for a Roundhouse punch versus the Orion Supreme. Oh my frick. It's gargantuan. Are you ready for this? It's okay, Viren.
I'm also just curious of how much the size between them.
Yeah, so here we have the Orion Supreme-Class Ferolder versus the Roundhouse Punch
Oh
by
my
Duke
God,
Slayer.
The Roundhouse is so goddamn big.
And watch this.
Imminent crash.
Oh my shit! Oh my god!
Oh. Oh my god.
And boom, it won. Holy shit.
Oh my god, the Port Supreme. Oh my god. Look how close it came to the oh, there it comes.
Yeah, and
Wow.
it came so close and then it got so far.
Oh my god. And there goes the rest of it.
It's gorgeous. Let's watch it one last time. You know what? The thing is that if the Supreme, yeah, so if the two ships are spawned
It missed a little tiny bit.
it missed a, so the interesting thing is that if the Supreme manages to get enough damage off and slow, or alternatively slow the ship down enough, it'll just bounce off. But this is not one of those times. This is not one of those times.
This is one of those times where it just disintegrates.
Oh,
I like the fact that this punch comes within like a hair's breadth of the core.
it really does.
I know where it is. Oh.
Kaiji, you say that as it comes within a hair's breadth of the core.
That's what I did the first time.
Holy shit, yeah, that is so funny. That is so funny, the poor
Felt like how
Ryan.
close it is.
Holy
That's
shit.
like a block.
It is. Oh, and here it goes. GG. Goodbye. Oh, my life. That is beautiful. Oh, it's gorgeous. And that is the pure power of the Roundhouse punch, ladies and gentlemen.
Ooh. Oh.
That is an oof and ow.
As it just cleans the ship up. Oh, one piece survived. As it
Yeah.
smashes it into the other surviving piece.
Yeah, so Byron says I don't feel bad anymore. I'm glad, Byron.
Because it is literally just a giant spinner ship.
Yeah, it's literally just a giant spinner. The thing is that spinners are a terrifyingly effective tactic. Okay, so now we have the Orion-Class Ferolders versus the Keel Kaiser.
Yeah, all the Ferolders.
Yeah, all the Ferolders. Now, the interesting thing here is that I'm pretty sure the Keel Kaiser
Wing.
will win, but only if the other...
Just on points.
Yeah, only if the Ferolders don't, like, get together and do well. Because the Ferolders are actually very... Compared to the Keel Kaiser, the Ferolders are incredibly tanky. I mean, the Keel Kaiser is the Orion Supreme, but without armor. I mean, you need to think of it like that.
Right.
It's actually 30,000 less P, but
Well, if anything, I do have a question directly for that.
Yeah.
I'm curious. What actually constitute as a point?
So a point. So oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I completely forgot that I'm explaining this to someone who's never played it before. I'm sorry, Kaj, but
I mean, because I thought it was damage
no. So
or hits.
well, it can kind of count. So hull, so if you look on the Ferolder, all the white stuff is hull,
Right.
and that doesn't cost any points. So points are power.
Oh, so the points that you earn are for destroying things that are worth points.
Yes. So the points.
see.
So oh my
So
gosh.
armor isn't worth
Yes.
points.
So yes, armor is worthless, but also the ships, the actual armor costs nothing. So yes, the point score of the ship the point score that the Keelkaiser is getting from the Ferolder is identical to how much the Ferolder has of points that have been destroyed. So
Right.
so every module in the game has a power point cost or a PP
Right.
cost.
PP joke, yes.
Yeah, it's so silly. It's hilarious and immature, but regardless of such. So every ship has a P
Armor
cost.
doesn't cost points, so it's not worth points.
Yeah, it doesn't cost points and it's not worth points, both. Um, so okay, so the armor costs nothing, but all these other little functional blocks do. All the stuff that actually has kind of
Right.
all the blue stuff has color. Just because
Points.
this faction has been colored in such a way that all the functional blocks, all the things that cost P actually have a color, or are blue, and all the stuff that doesn't is
Right.
the hull and it's white. So each weapon has a specific cost. So the burst lasers I think are about like 73 or something. The plasmas here are about 85 roughly. The thrusters individually, each little thruster block is about 8p. These
So
really
when that is destroyed, they earn that many points.
yes. Oh my gosh, the Keel Kaiser's assault.
Yeah, it's doing.
That's gorgeous.
lot.
That's doing a lot. Yeah, so unfortunately all the other Ferolders are just choosing to just chill at a distance.
And watch.
Yeah, and one of them has actually turned around and to hit him with his butt, apparently. Which is really silly, but oh well. Yeah, I know that ships usually like to get their thrusters in front of their center of mass, especially if they can, to get some decent speed.
Which for the ship in particular would be in the back, which is why it's turning around.
Precisely. That's my working theory. But yeah. Yeah, so the Keelkaiser has a lot of functional blocks. It has station shields and lots of other stuff. And big thrusters and drones and missiles and flak cannons and all this guff and gorgeous guff. And there's a lot of like equipment to choose from. A lot of different very nice functional equipment. There's auto cannons and plasma and whatever. Okay. And all of that obviously costs points. Now, the Orion Supreme Ferolder had 120,000. The Keelkaiser has about 98,000, and this is bearing in mind that like each block is probably like 98 points or 100 points, maybe.
Right.
So that's a hell of a lot of stuff. And
All the
comparatively,
drone blocks and
a lot of drone blocks, and comparatively, it has incredibly low hull compared to the Orion Supreme. The Orion Supreme is
right.
30,000 more, which is gargantuan, but it has a ton of hull, of hull, whereas
Right.
the Keel Kaiser has relatively nothing, and so this makes the Keel Kaiser incredibly weak for its cost class. For
It's
its
a glass cannon.
it is literally a
Effectively.
glass, yeah, it's literally a glass cannon, and it tries to make up for that with shields, with station shields, which are quite powerful, but are relatively ineffective. Yeah, it's a sad thing with reassembly shields; they're not usually that good. um,
Oh, really?
yeah, they're okay, but usually they're
A
just
waste of time.
the
Well, because they cost points. Armor doesn't.
yeah, exactly, and you could rather put those points into movement. But the thing is that
Right.
usually, if you want a small ship that's highly maneuverable, you'll want to use shields instead of hull. Is usually how it works. Because hull is a lot of mass, and you need to counteract that with a lot of with thrusters, and you need space to put it, and it just makes you a little more vulnerable than if you were to just have a few shields. So shields are really good, and also shields protect you from nukes and from things with big explosive radiuses. Um, and so that's just kind of the whole deal. Shields are good, but
I'm just watching this green cloud of mass heading towards the Ferolder's core.
yeah, it's gorgeous. But amusingly, most of the weapons don't actually have enough range to reach the Ferolder. It's actually all its autocannon fire and
Well,
plasma fire is
that
actually
or the point defense seems to either be. Well, what gets through this seems to be getting hit by point defense or
yeah.
yeah, just not making it or hitting something else. I can't say.
Yeah. In fact, as I say that, a few of its big plasma cannons have, I think, the most range out of everything. In fact, I
Nope.
think
Yeah, one just got snuck in and hit thruster or whatever you have. And
yeah. Also, he has a lot of rail cannons, which have like 200 so rail cannons have 2,500 range, which is a lot. That's a hell of a lot. Um, most weapons are within about 1,000 range. So an autocannon has I think it's about 900 range. A plasma cannon has about 1,200. The medium has about 1,200. The biggest scale. So there's three scales of plasma cannon. There's the small one, which has I think about 700. The second scale, which is like 1,200, and the biggest one is like 1,500. And the rail cannon has 2,500. It's like double the second
double
scale,
the medium, right?
double the medium.
So
It has a lot of range and a lot of damage, but it fires really slowly. Um, I think the rails are actually what's hitting this. Either that or the big plasmas. Yeah, I think the big plasmas and the rails are what's hitting this. Um,
are your other Ferolders helping? Because it looks like your ships are getting it point wise so far.
yeah, they are getting ahead point wise, but this is more to do because I have so
You're hitting stuff that's worth points.
exactly, and there's a lot of equipment exposed on Lightning's ship. So it means that he's losing he's hemorrhaging points very quickly.
Right.
Whereas the Orion-Class Ferolders, there's a lot of them and they're spread out. You know, all my points are spread out in amongst relatively beefy, quite I say well designed, well armored ship. I meant well armored ships, and so it makes them very effective in that sense. That you know all the eggs aren't in one basket, so to speak. Um,
Right.
you can make it work. Like for the Orion class, for the Supreme Ferolder, for the Supreme. So from now on, I'm going to call the really big one the Supreme Ferolder, and these are the ones.
The Orion-Supreme.
The Orion Supreme. I'm just going to call it the Supreme Ferolder, and these normal little ones that you see now are just the normal Orion, just the Orion classes,
Alright.
just the normal Orion class Ferolder. So I'm going to call the Supreme and then the Orions. So the Supreme has has all the stuff in one place, but it has a hell of a lot of armor to protect it all.
Right.
You know, it had all the armor that would be on these ships is on the Supreme, but these ships would actually culminate in actually having more HP because it's actually a little more. There's actually a lot more armor on all these ships divided, in all these individual ships. But the Keelkaiser has all that all that point
Oh, shit.
in one ship, and it has very low health, so it gets sliced.
It's starting to show that it's getting beamed.
Yeah, so it looks beautiful and all, and gorgeous and just really awesome because of all the lights and madness, but it's highly ineffective because of that. It's a lot more it could be a lot more
Well,
maneuverable because
versus it's a ship that would struggle against a group,
yes, yes,
which it is. I mean, it's going after a ship that's also getting
yeah,
burned
I
heavily.
yeah, I mean it hasn't even taken out it hasn't even taken out one ship yet.
I mean, it's close to
It's close to.
doing so.
Yeah, it's very close to
It's
doing that, but unfortunately, all these dumb fire missiles are going out into space. That's really funny. These are very cute.
Yeah, it's just, well, that's why I was questioning what kind of missiles those were, because when that first one started, it just shot them. Well, I mean, I'm talking about the Ferolders. It shoots out the front and then torpedoes that it has, and they don't really do anything.
Yeah. So there's two different class of missiles. There's your torpedo and then there's your missile.
Right.
So the torpedoes are generally unguided and they do a ton of damage. And then you have your guided missiles, which are built faster, are launched, are quicker, and have been a better turning speed.
But they can't go as far.
They don't do as much
That's
damage.
usually
Yeah, they don't do as much
well, that's
damage. They actually
It's
also
usually how they balance between missiles and torpedoes. It's usually either a distance or a damage thing.
it is yeah. In this case, it's a damage thing. Torpedoes do incredible damage. They
But they don't target.
but they can't target and they're quite slow. They do have a considerable range, I do believe. Well, yeah, with missiles, we don't measure in range, we measure in lifetime. So, missiles will,
To go.
yeah, finally. There we go. Pop. As you say that, it happens, which is hilarious. Timing of God.
Well, I can see the green orbs of death.
Yeah,
For it.
I know, but I'm making a joke because it's just amusing because I'm watching it and you say it and it actually happens over here. I mean, of course you can see it happening, but that's the joke. That's the joke. So finally, the Keelkaiser has one down, but unfortunately, the Keelkaiser is about to lose its rear end to Ferolder lasers because the rest of the Ferolders have finally realized, oh hey guys, this isn't a joke anymore. One of our friends just died. Let's maybe go do something, which is hilarious. And so yeah, now the Ferolders are actually coming in to do something about it. I would be interested to see how this finishes, but this is going to take ages. So
this is probably gonna time out.
Yeah. So the Orion-Class Ferolders are currently winning on points. They're on 90,000. I'm pretty sure, and the Keelkaiser is just on 8,000. So no, there's no way the Keelkaiser could win this really. But I refuse. Yeah, put it up to times 64. It's not really going to make much of a difference, but it might. So I can speed it up, but if the game's already going slowly, it's not going to make any difference. I just
How
want
fast can this simulation go? 64 times?
64 times, but it depends on how much load there is.
Right.
Okay, let's see the Roundhouse punch versus the Keelkaiser. I think we all know how this is going to go, but still.
I kind of want to see against the Ferolder fleet.
That would be really interesting, actually. But the only issue then is that I'm pretty sure it would lose its external armor before it finished. Because the thing with the Roundhouse punch, it's a Sentinel ship, or actually no, it's multi-faction. Yeah, it's multi-faction. So it has so the Sentinels, which is one of the factions, have armor spikes. Now these armor spikes do melee damage. So they do 5 times the normal melee damage. And they themselves don't actually take any melee damage, as far as I believe. Yeah, they don't actually take any melee damage, and they do 5 times the normal melee damage. So if you have a Sentinel ship with armor spikes, and you get it going fast enough, it can slice right through craft, right through asteroids. It can do amazing things. But in the case of the Roundhouse,
that's what those giant blocks of in the fists are.
Yeah, that's actually those giant blocks are actually just shields.
Those shields.
Sorry, hello, who's this?
Hello, it's C. Hitler.
Hello, C. Oh, do you see the?
Got back from eating
You just got back from where?
dinner.
Good. I'm currently streaming a little Reassembly Shenanigans.
Nonsense. Yeah.
Alright, well, I'll try and keep out.
No. You can stay. You can just just load up the stream. It's on my channel. You can just take a look, and you can watch the hilariousness. The round
That's about that.
the Roundhouse punch is about to punch the Keel Kaiser, which will mean nothing to you,
Oh,
but
I can't
just.
wait.
Oh no, of course it means something to you. Yeah, what am I? I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. See, I forgot I forgot that you play Reassembly. I'm too used to thinking of kaiju. I'm sorry, kaiju. I'm going insane. Okay, so ba- so kaiju. Do you see all these like light blue? You know, the kind of like light gray, not the gray, but the like, kind of like semi, kind of off
Yeah, I see
blue, the off blue,
Oh, yeah.
the off blue surrounding blocks. Those are actually armor spikes, but
Okay.
they're made in such a way as to look like squares.
Right.
And so whenever those hit a block, so let's take a look, shall we?
That's the melee damage.
That is the melee damage. Yeah. Those big
Okay.
those shields are actually Terran. I think those are actually Terran stations. Oh my
Those are
existence.
supposed to block. It's just hard to tell when there's just so much on it.
No, it's fine. Yeah. So the other thing is that
Oh, lightning. Not want to see this.
no. The other thing is that the Roundhouse punch has thruster stacking. Now, you can break the game slightly. When you're building ships, majorly, fine. When you're building ships, if you do a certain little trick, oh, pardon me, you can get blocks to stack on top of each other in super crazy ways. So
Oh
here,
yeah, you mentioned that in the rules for the tournament that you can't do it because if you move it, it won't. Yeah, I do understand the gist of it. I think I understand the gist of what you're talking about because I saw that in the rules for the
Yeah.
tournament you just did.
yeah. So basically, yeah. So if I were to pull one of these things out, I would not be able to put it back in normally. I'd have to glitch it back in. So
Wow.
slightly tank husk, only slightly husk. So yeah, this thing is gargantuan and crazy. Why is it not moving? Oh, because it's
You
winding up.
paused.
Yeah, it was actually winding up.
Oh,
Because the Keel Kaiser is launching so much stuff, it actually lags at the game.
it's just like the game.
Yeah. So here comes the Roundhouse punch is also just gargantuan. It's beautiful. So yeah, it is a hell of a ton of hyper stacked.
Power.
I believe those are farmer thrusters. Yeah. So the farmers have a super thruster which you can't get normally. So it's technically illegal, but you can get it.
Technically,
It's technically illegal because
these
it's
poor drones.
oh, the poor drones. Yeah. Just slice.
Well, look at the cloud of them off the
Good.
shields.
Yeah. Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. So all the shields are there to protect the integrity of the ramming spikes. Because okay, here we go.
And then the flaming debris of the Kaiser is stuck on
Yeah.
the Roundhouse.
Yeah. Okay. Time for the
As it
Roundhouse.
smokes into oblivion.
Yeah. Time for the Roundhouse to say hello to the Orion-Class Ferolder fleet. This is gonna be gorgeous. Now,
Should be interesting.
the arena board is pretty big, but oh my existence. Oh my life. Oh, that's not even fair. That's not even fair. It just, you'll see.
Uh-oh.
You'll see. You'll see.
There goes one.
And the little tail goes spinning off. It's so funny. Oh
How'd
no.
that survive? As it gets annihilated. And it bounces off of its friend.
Oh jeez. So you'll actually see that some of these bits are kind of phasing through the ship because the updates per second, the updates aren't actually happening fast enough.
Yeah, so it's
It's getting bits of debris stuck inside of it, and so it actually damages itself. But oh my life, it takes them out just kablamo. Oh my life, that's so.
I'm watching
extremely
I'm
epic.
watching the back end of the first ship still.
Really? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's actually the back
Over
end.
there.
Oh my life. The Roundhouse just flipped one of the ships. It just hit it and sent it flying.
It lived.
Bad time ahead indeed, Husk, indeed. The cool thing is that with the thrusters on the ship, it looks like it's like losing steam and water and fire and stuff. Like it looks like it's it's like it's smoldering off the side that just got punched, which is so funny. I'm surprised that the Roundhouse punch actually hasn't lost any of its external armor yet. So it's hitting missiles, but the thing is that since it's spinning, oh my life, there goes the front of that ship. Also, the other issue is that if the Roundhouse punch loses too much of its momentum from like turning to hit another ship,
Right.
it'll actually just end up just kind of stalling and getting stuck on the enemy ship.
The Ferolder just skimmed off a whole layer of the melee box.
Oh my life. Yeah, it did. Oh wow, yeah, it did. That's really good. Oh shit. It just knocked that one. It knocked it, destroyed it, and set it flying. That is so beautiful. Yeah, look, I'm more than happy to watch this to the end because this is supremely fun. Duh. Oh, that's sad. It knocked it away. Knocked it away. Now you can see what happens when the ship actually loses sections of its spikes, of its melee spikes.
Well, now it's actually hitting it with the ship itself, not the spikes.
Precisely. So now it's slowing itself down and hitting the enemy ship away. So the enemy ships are actually able to rebuild themselves. So if we look at this Ferolder over here, it's actually rebuilding itself slowly. And same with all the ones that have been hit away. They're kind of just rebuilding.
His back end just got sheared off.
Yep.
Alright, so this one will slowly try to rebuild.
Yes. So all the ships in Reassembly can naturally reassemble.
Hence saying.
As per the name. And oh my life. Oh.
I don't know, one of those little back pieces is still alive.
Yeah.
That ship lived by the skin of its ass.
It really did, by the skin of its mast. I like that one. So as you were asking, Kaj?
A ship reassembling, does it need resources, or resources nearby, or does it use reconstitute pieces of itself, or does it just do it?
It just does it.
I'm assuming it just does it.
Yeah, it just does it, which is it's really quite funny. Yeah, so a ship needs to be, first of all, it needs some time alone, Oh yeah.
It's not a good one.
No.
That wasn't a good one.
Yeah, but thankfully it just ended up getting punched away, which is very lucky for
It
us.
looks like it's gotten some of its melee box back on one of the hands.
Yeah. So.
Because
Yeah.
the lasers, I see when if the laser comes just within range, it will just shear off a whole layer of them.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah. So as you can see, 6 of these Orion-Class Ferolders have been thrown to the edges of the map and are slowly rebuilding themselves. That's so hilarious. Oh, GG. Oh no, it survived once again by the skin of its teeth. The issue is that it actually needs to focus one.
Where's that one that lived that lost most of its?
Oh, up here.
Up
Yeah.
top.
It's up top.
Yeah,
It's
that
up,
barely lived.
top left. It's hilarious. Poor little cute thing. But as you can see, it'll slowly reassemble its blocks. All blocks have different reassembling speeds.
Right.
So
I'm assuming armor is the fastest.
yeah, armor usually generally rebuilds the fast after the game crashed.
I can't imagine why.
I can't imagine why either. I guess it was just way too much epicness. Oh, okay, God. Oh, that was great. Oh, I love that. Flip. I need to just do that more often. Just verse things against
The Roundhouse.
the Roundhouse. Oh, it's so funny. I love it. Yeah. Exciter, did you just retract a message? Oh, hello, anybody here? Oh, hello, Exciter. That's alright. You can't hide from me, Exciter. Oh, no, that's not the message you retracted. That's sad. Yeah, there's 5 people watching. That's fine. Hello, everybody. Well, unfortunately, it just ended, so I'm gonna go to sleep. Thank you, everybody, for watching this little bit of shenanigans.
The madness.
That madness, and that was actually really fun. That was hilariously fun. Thank you, Kaiju. So now you've seen a bit of Reassembly, and you kind of understand what the hell is going on. Are there any last questions you have?
No, not really.
Yeah, okay, fine, fair enough. I mean, so
Nothing,
yeah.
nothing I can immediately think of.
So, actually, let me give you a bit of theory here because I like to theorize about games. It's quite fun. So
Oh,
now here's an interesting thing about so as you know about reassembly. So okay, as you rightfully asked, you know, when they reassemble, how how do they take resources, all this stuff? Thing is, no, they don't. They just straight up reassemble their stuff. They just somehow magic resources out of thin air, you know, and just build the stuff. Which kind of led me on a whole funny, a really quite a funny train of thought, which I wrote down in the reassembly forums. It's a little bit of like funny theory lore. The thing is that
you
all
didn't write fanfic, did you?
basically it was a fanfic, but about spaceships. So the interesting thing is that to build a ship, all you need to do is build the core. All you need is that little core, and from there it'll assemble the big ship. So you know when you're in the game and you're
Does the ship need power to reassemble?
no, the thing
Then?
the ship doesn't need
Just
anything.
needs the core.
It just needs the core. So as long as the ship has a core, it can reassemble.
Right.
And
But
as,
obviously, as long as it has a core, it's the ship.
as long as it has a core, it's a ship and it can be attacked. So the interesting thing is that the core has a little PowerPoint cost. You know, it has like 10 PowerPoint cost. But the thing is, to build a core that is then going to like turn into like the Orion Supreme, like the Orion Supreme Ferolder. To build the Orion Supreme's Ferolder core would cost like 120,000p. So my working theory is that P is actually, you know, so the points are called power points, and it kind of makes sense. It actually really makes sense because kind of the idea, you know, how much stuff, how much operating, you know, like functions can a ship support. But it's not like energy generated power. It's like it's like operational power. It's like AI power, like thought power, which is kind of like the funny joke that I said. So the idea that I came up with was that in the reassembly universe, the the factions and the civilizations are so advanced that they don't even need to gather resources anymore. All they do basically is just, you know, gather up like space dust or whatever, and they can just, you know,
Just constitute a ship from seemingly nothing.
yeah, they can just, you know, take the atoms,
Is it
reconstitute.
dark matter?
You know what? Why not? You know, they can just take whatever, they can convert it into whatever, you know, material they need. You know, like mass conversion or
Right.
mass fabricate or, you know, whatever. You know, so that they can do stuff, and they don't even need to care about materials or resources. But what the issue actually is computational power. So power points are actually computational power. Now, the funny thing is that you need, in air quotes, resources, but you get resources from decomposing plants. So you need plant matter to upgrade your ship's computational power? Question mark. It's kind of you know, I mean the thing is that
Oh, when you're first gathering points in the campaign, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, the thing is that you trade in R for C, which is just credits.
Right.
And with the credits, you can increase your personal, you know, PowerPoint limit. So, you know, the kind of idea is like, you know, you're basically paying someone to, but you're basically, you know, using whatever credits are, which are probably just, you know, they're probably just credits. But I like to imagine that maybe they're just like, I don't know, some sort of like, whatever. Okay, let's just say they're credits. So basically,
Another form of the same resource.
yeah, another form of the same resource. And so basically, you know, basically credits are used to kind of increase your maximum like computational capacity, like your you know, just improve the strength of your AI that's controlling all your weapons for you. You know, like managing the things and loading the weapons and doing.
We say it's for the AI, but I don't know if there's more power, the more AI, because that doesn't seem to be the case. Because sometimes, like you said, the ships will just sit there and just watch their friends
Yeah, fair enough, but I mean,
get annihilated.
well, not so much the guidance AI. I mean, that's kind of just the captain, really. But you know, the thing that manages like all the weapons and thrusters and makes everything
Right.
go, and you know, it's like I said, it's kind of like management. It's computation. It's just raw calculation and maintenance and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you're maintaining a giant robot worker force that's just going about the ship doing its stuff. And so, you use C to upgrade your personal P limit. But if you want to build a ship, you need resources. So my kind of idea is that what they do is they literally take resources and they literally make little brains from them. they they use it as like a brain stimulant to make captains smarter so they can manage more stuff on a ship, or like, whatever. Well, they do crazy stuff, who knows. But it's just like a funny idea that really the things in reassembly don't need resources, but what they need is computational, thinking ability.
Right.
Which is like really, really funny. I like the whole idea. And so, so
And
power.
for each central fleet, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Well, in the campaign, because obviously for the campaign, as long as you don't lose your ship, you can do whatever you want, really.
Yeah. Yeah, because your ship, so you will have like 300 power points to start the campaign with. That's what you always start any campaign with, is 300 power points. And from there you can upgrade your ship. You collect resources and you can build other ships with those resources. So what you're really doing is you're taking a command core which probably has like a mass fabricator in it or whatever. And so the command core has all this cool stuff in it. And then the resources are actually just to fuel the AI that's going to control and manage all this stuff. the resources are literally just making.
Which also, if you think about it, that means all the ships are actually literally at their core, they're all equal.
Yeah, which is like hilarious and really quite cool. And kind of explains.
As long as you don't lose it, you can do whatever you want.
Exactly. The rest of the ship doesn't matter because it's literally.
Because it will just reconstitute.
Exactly, it can reconstitute itself out of whatever it wants.
Reassemble.
It can literally reassemble. So then that's really quite funny. I like that whole idea. And Tankhusk says the future of humanity, boys. Yeah, well, we're just gonna take plant matter and turn it into AI brains. Seems completely reasonable. Yeah, it's not gonna backfire at all. Oh, silliness. Anyway, that's enough of that. So, good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. And until next time, everybody, cheery, reario.